Yeah, we suck right now. So.
Culture is actually, like, I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes.
Hope y'all enjoyed your turkey day. I'm still pushing through enough leftovers to feed an army. That army will be proudly partnered with Underdog, the perfect place for daily fantasy and pick'em entirely. I know I pretend I'm competent at tree picks, but let's see how badly I did last week. Jordan Love was gonna throw less than one TD, huh? Yeah, sure, buddy. About as cold as the Dolphins in freezing weather. You only fail if you stop shooting. Let's go 3-2 again. The battle for the North. Green Bay and Detroit. Should be a solid one. Jahmyr Gibbs, even against a stout Packers unit, is a cog of this Lions offense. Even if he leaked the Lions protection packages, you can't deny some Sonic and Knuckles goodness. Higher in his rushing yards. One thing to note about Detroit is that their defense has been decimated. They're down to pillaging practice squads at this point, which has me thinking higher on their offensive production for both Christian Watson's receiving yards and Josh Jacobs' combined rushing and receiving yard total. Jack Campbell has played a huge role in this Detroit defense and will have to take on more of the Lions' share of duty. 4.5 tackles is an easy higher pick for me. And Jake Bates. You have to love your daily share of Jake Bates. No logic, just vibes. The vibes are pointing higher for me. I know you can do a lot better than my hackery, which is why you should flex your might with Underdog's Pick'em game. Any combination of players you desire from multiple games throughout the NFL week, daily promos throughout the NFL season as well, you can't complain about that. And you definitely can't complain about the code UTREE. Use it in the link below to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash in your first deposit, plus a special pick in the lobby. Maybe someday I'll learn that I'm not good at this Underdog thing. Probably not. That's why I always play responsibly. And you should too. So how does Chicago one-up the misery index after weeks of unearthing new torture techniques on their fan base? A terrible first half sounds about right. Detroit gives such little fucks that they're running pass plays by Panay Sewell. The fans are cheering a sack. The Lions are straight up trolling them. There's nothing they can do about it. Most of the first half, Chicago had fewer yards gained on offense than the Lions had first downs. This should honestly be outright slaughter, but Detroit's getting insanely arrogant and not going for the kill. Not to mention Sonic losing all his rings near the Bears' end zone to keep them only leading by 16 at half. You get a recipe for disaster. Chicago finally got their shit together at halftime. Probably from Eberflus being locked in a broom closet. Caleb and the offense are flying high. And there's one significant reason for it. The Lions are running out of defenders. Not even being facetious, their injuries being shredded by injury left and right. And that's partly why Chicago's coming back into the fray. Thanks to repeated stalling by Detroit on offense and the first missed field goal of Jake Bates' career, the Bears are only down by 3. The pendulum swung hard, emphasized by a Lions 3 and out. Chicago's being propped up and handed a golden chance yet again. A final drive with a chance to not only save the game, but people's jobs. Driving down thanks to Caleb and a bit of ref ball, as is tradition. They're now in striking distance. Too bad Flus freed himself from the closet. In standard Bears fashion, they imitate modern Twitter and nobody's blocked. A brutal sack to kick them out of field goal range with a little over 30 seconds left. But they do have a timeout to play with. Any competent mind could work with this. You know, you can do something, Chicago. Do we need to phone a friend or poll the audience? Seriously, what the fuck are you doing? Call your timeout. Run a play. Organize your men. What is your major malfunction, you asswipes?
Oh, this is disaster in the making here. You're going to have to do something when it comes down to this play. Incomplete, and the game is over.
I feel like I lost 20 IQ points by watching that segment. Did the Bears collectively suffer a mini-stroke at that moment? Don't you have 2-minute drills to prepare for this? That was absolutely retarded. I know you're not supposed to say that in 2024, but there's no other word to properly describe it. Running a halfback dive would have been a better option. Give yourself a fucking chance! A 6-year-old playing fucking Madden would have better game sense. Your team needs a leader and Caleb's pissing down his leg, Matt. You're the head coach. Call your goddamn timeout. What was your adjustment there, an ice pick severing the prefrontal cortex? I have nothing. I legitimately have nothing. The NFL's bullshit is finally broken. Every yokel sitting in that Stadium 6 Bears Inn knew what to do. How the hell did Flus not? It's one thing to completely botch the football equivalent of pin the tail on the donkey, but it's another entirely to fuck up an easy situation and actively defend it after the fact. How the hell did you handle it the right way? Were you juggling Fabergé eggs on the sideline when this was happening? All of Chicago wants this guy publicly executed by firing squad, but I feel bad for the Bullets! You didn't just gift Detroit a 10-1 record when they were doing their best to flop. You ended the Detroit Thanksgiving memes in one fell swoop. Don't worry, folks, Eberflus is saving that timeout for when he's on the unemployment line. This has to get that guy fired, right? Turns out it was. When even the Chicago Bears, a team notorious for never firing a goddamn coach in the regular season, have had enough of your shit, it's ridiculously damning. History has been made. Eberflus was so utterly incompetent at nearly everything at his job that the McCaskies are swallowing the remainder of his contract. They even let him have a press conference an hour before where he stated that he believed he'd be coaching the next week. Brother, if that happened, Bears fans would have made January 6th look like a building tour. The locker room was about to Ceausescu this fucker outside of team headquarters. They were popping champagne corks when they found out. But he's merely a symptom. McCaskey ineptitude and cheapness loom large again. They could have fired him last year, but they used their late surge as an excuse to not have to spend money. And the same damn cycle perpetuates. I'm looking forward to Caleb Williams in the black and gold. Hey, it happened the last 2 times. That timeout Eberflus save's gonna come in handy. Or perhaps he lost it as often as he did one-score games. Anyone pay attention to this game? It merely existed as background noise as America indulged in roast turkey and groan-worthy lectures about politics at the dinner table. This was slop content. Cooper Rush against Drew Lock in a poorly executed trash heap merely made for cheap views and shock value. The shock is in how terrible it was. They couldn't even give us the Tommy DeVito and Trey Lance comedy fest that would have supplied entire food banks. I don't even remember a single notable moment out of it besides the pick 6. Everything blended together. A great game to pass out on the couch with a food coma. Unfortunately for the rest of us, such a miserable display as finite and Dallas stays slightly ahead for their first home win of the year. Oh, wonderful, Jerry Boy can pretend his team's competitive and do nothing to fix things. My God, you beat the Giants? A team without Sexy Texy for the year now? Joke's on them, they wanted to lose for the first pick. We should really be afraid. You barely took care of a garbage team, Micah. Calm your damn tits. The only thing you're coming for is a vacation to Cancun in January. Speaking of Cancun...
Miss!
Miami is a machine with an offense without compare or contemporary. Destroyer of worlds and dazzler of the common man. But like the Death Star, the Dolphins only have one glaring flaw in their construction. They cannot function below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. They're playing a night game at Lambeau. There is snow falling. It's over. The narratives will linger as Green Bay does not care for their petty ambitions. They only want to keep pace with the Motor City. And they hated Flipper. Miami's first half was like The Rock's acting range. Flat. And by that point, it was already over. Jordan Brooks said the quiet part out loud. Packers players are taunting them about it. Them boys looked more than cold out there. They were frozen shut. As Green Bay gets their easiest win of the year, the Dolphins no longer have room for error. Their playoff aspirations may be all but shot, but don't tell that to them. They still fancy themselves as a contender. Be thankful they have the Jets twice, but if the Niners get back to form, death knell. Black Friday game involving the Chiefs and Raiders. Sadly for the rest of us, this won't be a hilarious implosion like last Christmas. Las Vegas will be hoping Aiden O'Connell can throw a football in some way. Anything's better than what they had before. It's an entirely predictable situation. Kansas City gets out to a relatively decent lead and their defense clamps down on whatever resembles an offensive attack. For part of the game. Real ball knowers understand. The Chiefs suck. They may be 10-1, but KC's been playing some horrible football this year. They may have the worst defensive tackles in the league. They have no depth at cornerback. They're letting motherfucking AOC have a career day. Are you gonna try to stop Brock Bowers or their god-awful running game, or anyone for that matter? Honestly, the Raiders should have a pretty sizable lead, but bullshit isn't real without the other team self-destructing. Daniel Carlson suffered poison damage and can't make a kick today. Anything from over 50 plus, better chance at praying for world peace. 3 strikes and you're out. Or that might be Antonio Pierce's timeout management. The NFL's calling for some more manufactured drama, so we'll get faux tension from here. Kansas City's only up by 2 and are forced to punt the ball back. The Raiders are moving into field goal range with time winding down. Oh no, you guys, what a tense moment. I wonder how the Chiefs are gonna bullshit their way to a win this time.
And flawlessly moves this offense into field goal range.
It would be a 50-yard field goal from here. Drops it. Flag is thrown though. Flag will stop it.
Oh my goodness, what a shocking turn of events. Deus Ex Machina in Kansas City, I can't believe it. All hail the NFL and their entertainment product. All hail the Raiders tank. Seriously though, this is the kind of shit that makes people think the games are scripted. For the last time, guys, they're not scripted. They're manipulated to make outcomes closer for the sake of fan interest. Big difference. Kansas City gets their playoff berth where cold reality will be unleashed once again. This might be the lifeline that Washington needed to save their season. After a string of embarrassing losses, a rallying cry would be the only thing to muster up a victory. Behold, the cavalry has arrived! Your knights in no armor. Tennessee. They're terrible. Unspeakably terrible. Even a team as recently sloppy as the Commies can crush them with ease. Tell me, is getting over 100 yards rushing in the first quarter good for a team? How about 250 all game? I can't decipher it for myself. Perhaps I'll be penalized for it as often as the Titans were. 11 penalties in the first half? Might as well be ripping a player's helmet off and get away with it. Don't worry, they'll call the illegal block in the back. Shitty opponent or not, Washington gets back on the horse. And that's all that matters in the end. Just don't mention Emmanuel Forbes to them. Or any of their recent first-round picks. A graveyard of busts. At least this recent one seems to be working out. No team stock has fallen as hard as the Texans over the past 2 months. I consider getting the SEC involved. There has to be a few executives who sold off their shares for a golden parachute. Jags have been in the same boat more than a few times. How it happened to them last year. Trevor Lawrence is back, but it's out of complete desperation to save Dougie P's job. He's visibly ailing and nowhere near full strength. If he's healthy, even for the Jags' ineptitude, they probably win. But the NFL doesn't base itself on hypotheticals. Houston won in quotations. In no way conceivable did they look any good. They play 25 other franchises, they're getting crushed. This defense is letting Mac Jones dice them up, outright imploding on their final 2 drives. What would this team do without Joe Mixon? But we've been over how shitty the Texans are. I'd just be repeating myself. Same for Duval. You may have heard me say Mac Jones a few sentences ago. There's a big reason for it.
Oh, there's no doubt that Trevor represents them well. And oh my, that'll be Al Shire, who's flagged for the big hit on the slide, and that's going to start a little bit of a scrum afterwards as the Jaguars come in to protect their QB.
Thought Vontaze Burfict retired years ago. What a bitch move. A blatant helmet-to-helmet hit when T-Law began his slide a while ago. Yet Aziz Al-Shaair wants to keep fighting everyone after the fact? I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that Lawrence might be shut down for the year is why they're pissed? Suspend Aziz for the year and then some. This isn't the first time this has happened. Enjoy your pity win, Houston. Hope you get blown the fuck out at home in January. You can join Jacksonville on the couch when it happens.
Miss.
I will never cease to be amazed at how the Falcons find the most unbelievable ways to lose football games. When young Waku's been infected with the same disease afflicting Justin Tucker, it'll be a long day at the office. In solidarity with Atlanta's history, it's due to their own hand. Their defense suffocated anything resembling a Charger attack. Sure, LA's without J.K. Dobbins, but the Falcons should be winning by at least 2 scores. Justin Herbert can't do it alone. They actually have a pass rush today. The division is being handed to them on a silver platter. Until you realize one thing. Liquid LA's defense is relentless, and their target is a philanderer of Cousins, terrorizing him for 4 interceptions. But that might be more on Kirk. What a disaster. He's telegraphing every move. Dude turned Tar Heap still into prime champ Bailey. The Charger offense doesn't even need to do anything when Kirk's near single-handedly giving them the game. Yes, Drake had a horrible drop as well. But it's time to take a long walk in the woods. Stay a little bit ahead of me, it's for the best. Kirk, just keep looking at the flowers, man. Don't turn around. Just tell me about the daisies and the rabbits. What the hell are the Raiders doing here? Looks like they've been dead for weeks.
Miss.
If you were to tell me that Cincinnati was gonna put up 38 on the Steelers before the game, I'd be expecting a 3-score blowout. In no way, shape, or form would I believe that Pittsburgh would be the victor. Yet this is a new era, and it's one so lost it's using a map from the 1920s. I knew Cincy's defense was horrific, but I still underestimated their shittiness. Are they going to try to adjust to the Steelers or anything? It was like shooting fish in a barrel, bungling to give up over 500 yards of offense. To Pittsburgh. Russell Wilson had a throwback to his Seattle days against these boys. Congratulations, Cincy, you allowed the black and gold to score for 40 points for the first time since the Killer Bees. The Escaloozers running on overdrive today. The Bengals were gashing Pittsburgh's pricey D with a run. What the hell did they abandon it? They chose to chase after a game they lost control of an age ago. Joe Burrow can't do every single damn thing with a game plan this one-dimensional. And it faded to a whimper with a strip sack, scoop, and score. One word, Bungles. Dagger. This was do or die and you willingly buried yourself in an unmarked grave. Mike Brown's cheapness lurks in the shadows undoing their ambitions. And the reward is a standard. Another non-losing season for Pittsburgh. The narratives will continue until morale improves, regardless of George Pickens losing composure. New England understands the assignment. Winning a meaningless game would only hamper their efforts to secure Travis Hunter. Indianapolis has had more than their fair share of torments here over the years, but they can take a pass this time around. In reality, the Patriots, despite getting all the yardage and metrics in the world and having a lead, keep running over their legs while driving the car. Only a team that's as insanely awful as the Patriots whiff on a 25-yard field goal. Only a glorious tank throws a brutal interception near the goal line. I'm so proud of them for being an abomination to football. Unfortunately, this Colts team is bad. Drake May is failing to comprehend his orders as a tank commander. Pushing down the field to score a touchdown to go up by 7. The horror. Even worse, AR throws another bad ball and an interception's made. But the Patriots' endgame is to lose. They must go 3 and out. Then the caving begins. This defense can't make a stop. In a game where New England dominated and should have won by 20, the allure of losing was just too strong. They'll let Indy slowly inch and claw their way down the field. 4th down conversions and all. No point in trying to do anything. Allow Colts fans to have their Anthony Richardson moment in the style of Kenny Pickett. Comeback drives against a garbage team. You just have to appreciate the small victories in life. Praise be the Richardson magic. Bring us home, Anthony.
Taylor to the flat. Richardson looking. Richardson end zone. It is caught.
One step closer to Travis. Just let AR unleash his man strength, bow down, and call it a day.
Going for 2 in the lead. Richardson pulls it back. Richardson bangs it in. And the Indianapolis Colts have taken the lead.
Bad teams find ways to lose games, and the Pats more than did so. As always, Indy drunkenly stumbled around and landed in the vicinity of a win. They let the Colts remain extremely delusional, which might be a punishment for both teams if we're being honest. Kicking a 68-yard field goal? I don't know what's more hilarious. The fact that Gerard Mayo thought it would work or that it was a few yards short of going through. Ponder this as you continue your quest for Tank Bowl.
Miss.
This game wasn't just drunk, it had been in the corner blacked out for hours. Drinking 6 dirty martinis beforehand and drowned itself in cosmos throughout the affair. Stumbling through handles of vodka like the Seahawks special teams stumble around. They saw the horrors of Titan special teams and wanted to one-up them. Simply standard Seattle things. A broken play leading to a 99-yard return touchdown by Kene Nwangwu. 2 fumbles on kickoff returns. That's just the average game for these boys. If you didn't expect a heart attack from them, you're either a neophyte or an idiot. That also goes for the Jets. You have a 21-7 lead headed towards another payday. Twilight Aaron Rodgers happened, horrifically overthrowing a wide-open Garrett Wilson, followed by a gift right to former Jet Leonard Williams. The greatest blessing in the NFL. Thick 6. We shall officially dub this day as Leonard Williams Day as he conquered his former team with ease. What do you want me to say? The Jets suck. We've known this for weeks. After that Nwangwu TD, there was nothing from their offense. Silence. No points on the board for almost 3 quarters. Devontae Adams was the final piece. They don't even have a fucking foundation. Now it's just hoping the defense can hold their own for at least one goal line stand. Be awful nice if the offense could respond in kind. Not with a fumble. Cough that shit up like it was phlegm. With it now being a 2-point deficit and Geno Smith eager for revenge of his own, all it's gonna take is a defensive collapse to do it. Seahawks 4th and 6 incoming. Cue a too many men penalty on the defense. Then amplify it with defensive pass interference to undo a turnover on downs. 4th and 1 stop? You mean a horse collar tackle. You think this is a fumble? How cute, that's actually an incomplete pass. And then, well, McDonald's offsides. The defensive collapse is complete. Seattle steals the game away when they had no business winning. Worst of all, DJ Reed's response to this is to blame the refs? Really? You're 3 and fucking 9 and the team had 12 penalties, my dude. Your offense is pathetic. Nope. The ref ball was bad, but that's merely a symptom. New York is awful. Maybe those rumors of them putting Aaron to pasture might come true after all. Seattle is 7 and 5 in the most hilarious way possible. Once again, standard Seahawks things. Peak Vikings truly is a sight to behold. Shades of 2022 dancing through a barrage of raindrops. We've got some bad football taking place in Minnesota. Repeatedly failed opportunities to do anything for either side, but especially the Vikings. What the hell is happening here? I know you strike me as a team that's gonna get smacked around in the wild card, but like this? Arizona's treating them like child's play. Stretching out to a 13-point lead in the second half, it's turning into a disaster beyond comprehension. The Skull Channers want blood, particularly of whatever this offense is supposed to be. However, they fail to understand a few things. First, the Vikings are never what we call normal. Secondly, the Cardinals are mercurial as all hell, even from game to game. What that equates to is peak football. At least from a shit show point of view. Minnesota's offense will finally, and I mean finally, be able to generate significant production down the field of play. Unneeded touchdown. And the reward is Kyler Murray trying to make poison out of nothing. He succeeds. I think Green Bay and Detroit were cackling like hyenas 5 minutes earlier. Now, the Vikings power forward and take care of business with a field goal to get within 3. They just have to stop the Cards again and the advantage is theirs. But it's a long drive. They're near the goal line. The Cardinals can do it. But then comes a false start and intentional grounding to force a field goal. Advantage Vikings. This Cardinal defense crumbles into a paper ball. No answers for Addison or Jefferson. Today's death of the Arizona franchise is at hand. And Aaron Jones will drive the dagger as the Vikes do the unthinkable. Take the lead. Kyler doesn't have the proper loadout for this final drive and the contest finishes with a dud. What the hell was this, Arizona? The Vikings didn't even have a running game. This was your chance to keep up in the NFC West and you blew it. Minnesota dodges every single collapsing boulder above them and stands tall at 10-2. It's an insanely suspect 10-2, but all you have to do is make the dance to have a chance. Now about managing to play a full 60 minutes. Witness two franchises that need this win more than a human being needs air. An oasis in a desert of attrition and agony. The Saints and Rams in a winner-take-all matchup. Definitely hasn't happened before, right? What hasn't, though, is New Orleans' misery. Touchdowns to Alvin Kamara undone by an ineligible man downfield penalty. Counter that with a low block to end dreams of a touchdown. Kick it wide left to get nothing out of the drive. New Orleans stonewalled the Rams' offense for the entire first half. First time a McVay team's been shut out for 30 minutes. Yet it doesn't matter when the Saints just can't find a way ahead permanently. LA scores a touchdown on their first drive in the second half and it suffocates. The Aints in a nutshell. Everything in their power just to come up short. Unable to overcome the Rams' offensive menace. It finally showed up. Those final 2 drives, it was like there wasn't even a defense on the field. Yet there's one more issue to go over. New Orleans is trying to push to tie the game late. It's entirely predictable these days. Push down the field, get in the red zone, the standard kind of script. Then let the cards fall where they lie. A stalled drive. Stripped from them like a Derek Carr sack on 4th down. LA ripped their hearts out at the Superdome in 2019 and it happened again here. Just for entirely different reasons. The Saints just aren't good enough. The Rams have the better coaching game plan. And it showed with this gutsy performance. Yet for their desperately needed victory, we have suffered a terrible tragedy. New Orleans may have lost the game, but it pales to their real devastation. We've lost Taysom football. His season is over. The Swiss Army knife has been broken by a low hit to the knees. They've barely started recovering from that moment. You just can't give them another immediately. The NFC South is such a chaotic mess at this point that the Panthers have a modest chance of swiping it away. Figured Tank Division was in the past, but that might revive. Atlanta's a wreck, New Orleans is mired in their own misery, and Tampa Bay can't stop being undone by injuries and Todd Bowles. Today's problem was more the former than anything. Baker is visibly hurting. I don't know how anyone couldn't tell with how he was wincing in pain on roughly every third play. It was the worst performance from him in years, and it makes sense as to why. Thank the Lord for Bucky Irving. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a struggle to get anything going for both sides. Defense rules the day as neither quarterback can truly find pay dirt. Rice has his limitations at this level, and Baker's just limited by health. Any chance for either team stuffed at the goal line like the Panthers are. But Tampa Bay has the talent advantage, and more on their side. When in doubt, give it to Bucky. The 1-point lead things are most certainly perilous in the fourth quarter. Once again, thank God above for the man known as Bucky Irving. So what do the Bucs do once they get to the goal line? Not give the ball to Bucky Irving. Great logic there, guys. You cost yourselves a touchdown. Here's a field goal to celebrate. Now, it'd be awfully convenient if your defense manages to break down at the worst possible time thanks to Bryce Young's revival. You mean they did? How absolutely shocking. The Panthers have the lead. Unbelievable. It's here where Baker manages to will this franchise with whatever's left of his health to field goal range. That's all they can ask for.
Chase McLaughlin, the kick, it's up! It's through!
We're headed to overtime. It's far from the prettiest outcome, but the Bucs still have a chance. And they'll get ball first to prove it. A chance to avoid unbelievable embarrassment. They get to long-distance field goal range and can suffice with a dub. But Chase McLaughlin can't make magic happen twice. Carolina has a chance to make memes happen. They're gonna do it. The Panthers, a team left for dead in September, about to stun a hated rival with the arm of Bryce Young. He's no longer a total loss. He's developing. It's incredible. Go forth and win, my friends.
Already in field goal range, and they go to Chuba Hubbard. Ball's out! Ripped out by the Bucs, and Diaby is on it!
Are you shitting me? The game was in the palm of your hand, and you trip over a stoop. Fucking Chuba Hubbard. I don't care if that's not the pronunciation, that's how it should be. And thanks to his colossal faux pas, Tampa Bay is an opening to fund their own bailout. Bucky Irving once again wrecks the defense with his feet, and then they find a way to get back to 500.
It's up and through, and the Bucs pull it out in overtime in Carolina.
You can have nothing wholesome in this world. God damn it. We were robbed of good old-fashioned AFC North football earlier, so we'll get it in more than spirit here. The Battle of the Birds may as well be a rivalry game. A test of strength and endurance forged in the fires of hell. There can be only one champion in such a brutal skirmish, and that would be the Eagles. They straight up out-muscled Baltimore, suffocating them with raw power and might alone, proving Philly as a legitimate Super Bowl contender, facing off against an elite offense and laying them to heel all game. 8 straight wins. Nothing stops this train. Not even Baltimore. They just do that to themselves. This game merely reinforced every narrative about the Ravens, struggling mightily to outmaneuver strong defenses. More on the offense going mute in the clutch, unable to stop running backs like Saquon worth a damn. The Eagles were by far the better team, and it leaves Baltimore staring in the abyss of the same damn questions as before. Make Lamar's mom the head coach. She's holding people more accountable than Harbaugh is. Hell, she might rip Justin Tucker to shreds by the time all's said and done. 2 missed field goals and a doinked PAT on the day, adding to a nightmare. You can argue it cost them the game. Justin, the Ravens don't want to do it, but I think it's time we take a walk too. Look at the flowers, man. Just keep looking at them. Ignore the rotting corpse of Cousins next to you. He was so enamored he forgot to eat. We watched a season die in real time. San Francisco was already in a perilous spot, but I think heading to Buffalo shattered any illusions of glory from this point forward. Matt Milano's return is cause for celebration.
Ready.
A snow-draped field of play would be the canvas for bloodshed. Lake-affixed snow bogging down the Niners at every conceivable opportunity. Trapped and squirming as the wagons circle around their prey. Free target practice against the poor fools that dared to enter their holy shrine. May the carnage begin. It wasn't simply a rout. it was annihilation. San Francisco could do nothing to counter, their devil magic vanishing as quickly as their talent falls to the sword. I hate to break it to you, but that happened again as well. Christian McCaffrey was merely a rental in his return. His season's over, and he may never be the same player again. Josh Allen and Buffalo embraced the harsh conditions and dominated their supposed foe.
Nope.
Allen with the pass, the run, and the reception? Okay. Crushing them beneath their feet and decisively winning the day with January in their sights. The AFC East was supposed to be competitive this year. It's turned into a joke. You're the new Patriots, Buffalo. At least to your division. It's been known for weeks that the Broncos are most likely going to backdoor into the playoffs. The insanely lopsided AFC and strong defense have written it into contingency. Nobody said it was confirmed, though. Cleveland's playing with fire after the elimination of the adult in the room. With Reverend Jameis preaching from his pocket pulpit, it'll be tough to convert the masses. We got the full famous Jameis experience tonight. What a legendary performance throwing back to his 30-30 campaign. He's destroying everything. The opposition, his own team, the fans watching around the country. You know it. It starts out as a standard back-and-forth affair. Offenses being quiet despite a few big bangs early, merely feeling out their opponent to find any glaring weaknesses. The Broncos then ride on the back of Bosferatu and suck the life out of their opponent with a touchdown. Jameis then redelivers life by means of a counter touchdown. To the Broncos. Told you the famous Jameis experience is fun. Let's keep it going with extending life with another touchdown. One for Cleveland this time. As we try to debate if Riley Moss was the Broncos' defense, Bo Nix injects Denver with all the hopium. And I mean all of it. That play's gonna bring forth a bunch of babies born in Colorado next September. But Jameis won't be one up. Are you crazy? Judge Judy's gonna have his revenge game in the most delicious way. You like Levi Wallace, Denver? Pittsburgh sends its regards. We continue with a little bit of sludge. Defense is finally making stops, except for one attempted surge by the Broncos. They unfortunately don't make it to the end, so the field goal is kicked, and all seems lost for Cleveland. When the hate club was at its lowest morale, we have the bounty. A Mo Picks arm punt. Oh my lord, what an incredible blessing for us all. The Winston Million has come through. Big Chubb's returning to the Browns with a touchdown on an impressive drive. Cleveland has the lead. This is not a drill, my friends. We are witnessing the greatest Jameis timeline. Yet Sean Payton must punish a battered opponent. Taking the lead is inevitable, but they need a touchdown, especially with how rough their defense looks. They don't succeed. Denver's forced to kick a field goal, it's too late. Winston's gonna make these fools pay dearly for doubting him.
As he was headed out of bounds. Here's a pick!
Jameis,
Intercepted!
No!
Tonight.
Why do you betray us like this? Excuse me for losing my composure. Think about it for a minute. Almost 500 yards of offense on just under 60 pass attempts, 6 touchdowns, 2 of them to the other team. This is the peak Jameis Winston performance. We'll be hard-pressed to find anything better. Let Denver have the win. Hell, he's gonna make it 7 touchdowns right now.
Like, I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes.
It's that time of the year again. When the playoffs start to peek into the picture and we discuss the scenarios at hand. Such a chaotic time, but not really for the AFC. Their picture's pretty much set, barring a collapse or two. Kansas City and Buffalo have already punched their tickets to the dance. Pittsburgh will most likely with another win. Houston's only saving grace is that their division is ass and they have tiebreaker over the Colts. Baltimore, the Chargers, and Denver bring up the surprising wildcards of this conference. Indianapolis is still gunning for that final spot even if it's a long shot. Miami and Cincinnati are still alive, but barely. The NFC's a bit tighter. The Motor City currently leads the pack, but Philly's hot on their tail. The division ranks are pretty safe otherwise. Seattle and Atlanta hold claim to some very weak conferences this year. That means Minnesota and Green Bay have the potential to feast if the cards fall right for them. Washington got off a cold streak and comfortably hold the final seed in the meantime. At 6-6, the Bucs, Cardinals, and Rams still have a shot, especially in their divisions. Meanwhile, San Francisco, Dallas, and New Orleans are clinging on for dear life. And I mean it. There's been a lot of disappointment for teams this season, but there's still a chance they remembered the rules.
Don't get eliminated!
Bring out your
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Thanks very much. That's all. See you on Thursday. Right.
Seahawks load the line and bring pressure. Rodgers has it picked off by Leonard Williams. Just the second interception of the Big Cat's career. And is he going to take it to the house? His old house. He sure is. A pick six. And he flips the game on a huge play.